Looking to make some healthier habits this holiday season? Make sure to check out our Moving Through Midlife community over on Facebook, as we are doing a Planksgiving event where we are doing daily plank workouts. We will be doing an Advent for healthy, happy hips this holiday season, and then also have a sugar challenge, a 2-week sugar challenge that you might be interested in. Happy holidays! Episode 18, Struggling with Eczema. I'm really excited to have you listen in today as I'm speaking with Renee with the company Hard Lotion. And if you have children who deal with eczema, then you're going to know how stressful it can be to have to constantly put steroid creams on your children. So I wanted to share this with you today. Renee is a mom of 9 children who had a need after dealing with dry, split hands. She learned about some ingredients that would help to ease the pain, and then turned around and created her own product while providing her children the opportunity to help run the business. So she learned about this ingredient, she's added it to her products, and in turn, it now helps families with eczema, with dry skin, and any skin irritation where there is a recommendation for steroid use. I would really encourage you to give this a try. Hard Lotion works wonders without any of the harsh chemicals, and it is safe. Make sure to listen to the end where I will be sharing a special gift with you that Renee is so kind to offer all of my listeners. So I hope you enjoy this interview with Renee. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started with the Hard Lotion?
Yeah, it's definitely something I wasn't looking for as far as starting a business. It was definitely I just figured out a recipe that works for my problem. And then much later, it turned into a business because we figured it's helping a lot of people. Let's get this out there. But what my problem was, though, was that I have always had those splits and cracks in my fingers. And let me preface this all by saying that I'm a mom of 9. So my husband and I have been married for 25 years, and our oldest is 23 and our youngest is 5. So, we've got lots of kids and lots of sometimes different skin issues, but definitely that's been part of the process of how this whole thing started. So, and we live up in Northern California. We really love where we live. The area it's more of the out in the wilderness, kind of, not quite the wilderness, but anyway, it's definitely in the beautiful part of Northern California. So we really like the environment that we're in. But we also lived in Colorado for 8 years. And that is a place that is high altitude, super dry. Arizona, I'm sure the people there can relate to, but your skin just gets super dry. And I've always had that issue with my hands. Like I get little splits on my fingers, and then having a lot of kids, you're just washing your hands a lot. And the only thing I could really figure out that works after trying everything I'd have to have Band-Aids on my skin all the time. And then you wash your hands and you have to replace that. So it's just that whole ongoing problem that I've had. My mom's always had the same problem too. So we would compare notes or say, hey, have you tried this? And then she was the one that actually said, hey, I was at a farmer's market and someone presented me with this thing called a lotion bar. Have you ever heard of that? I'm like, no. And I've done all of the kind of the, trying to raise the family a little bit more naturally. So we'd make our own yogurt and we'd make this and make that. And I was even just kind of dabbling with making our own soap. So just stuff that's kind of the mom stuff to do. And she thought I would be interested in trying to figure this one out. So since it worked for her skin, I was like, yeah, I'll try that. And then it was something that it was a 3-ingredient thing, and I could find all the ingredients at my local health food store. And the recipe that I found online was super easy to do. So just coconut oil, shea butter, and beeswax. All it took was just melting those down, stirring it, let it solidify, and you've got a lotion bar. That's like how simple it was. But what was amazing is that it immediately made my hands feel good. Like my hands did not hurt when applying, because sometimes if you use pump lotions and you love the fragrance, it smells good, but the minute it hits your skin and if you got those splits and cuts, it just dings.
Yeah.
And then it feels great for probably about 10 or 15 minutes. And then you have to reapply later on in the day. And so it wasn't that long lasting, but this lasted for a long time in my skin. And I get the splits in my heels and it helped with that too. So it was all of those factors that worked amazingly well. And then it was around the same time, a few weeks later, that my son would get his normal bouts of eczema. He would break out seasonally. And so I thought, I'll just try it. And then it fixed that too, which was amazing. So I just felt like, okay, we're on to something here. So it wasn't for another 6 months that a local farmer's market came into, they were going to start a local farmer's market and we're looking for vendors. And I'm not one to go out and try to set up a stand, but I thought this could be fun. We were homeschooling our kids. So I thought this could be fun for the kids to get involved in. And my older two were like 8 and 10 at the time. And we didn't have as many kids back then, but because it was like, that's all I need is throw one more thing on. But this worked out well at the time to say, hey, let's go do this once a week. And we did. And it was amazing because I just found that by showing somebody something like this and they try it and find that it works for their skin, it was amazing how I wanted to keep going back out there. And my boys were with me too. And we just talked about entrepreneurial stuff and learned just from the very beginning of how to get a product out there. So anyway, after all those Saturday morning, 6 a.m. setups, got to be a little old. We turned it into an online business. And then we were able to eventually make that a full-time family business. So that's kind of what we've been doing for the past 12 years. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's great. I have used your Hard Lotion and it's interesting because I had found this other product that I was using and it was coconut oil based and I was using it on my heels and it didn't work. It has not worked. I'd put it on and I'm not very consistent with things like this. So I'd put it on one night, wouldn't work, go a couple of days, try it again. My daughter would be like, Mom, your feet are so rough. So when I received your product, I put it on one evening. The next morning, it's smooth. I still had a few cracks, but it was smooth. It didn't feel dry or anything. And then I put it on again and like the cracks are almost gone. It almost looks like I've had a pedicure.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. I think I've used the product 3 days because I'm not consistent, like I said, and it wasn't 3 days in a row, but it's been 3 days. I am amazed at how well it works for dry skin on the feet.
Yeah. And which one, I don't remember which one you have. Do you have like the foot rub stick or do you have the bar?
I have the bar.
Okay. So that's great because that's all you need really.
Yeah.
And if you were to just put that on at night, right before you go to bed. And sometimes like if you have it like very generously applied to your feet, if you get someone to massage it into your feet, that is the best. So my husband will do that when my feet get really bad. He'll just massage. I get a foot massage with it. Nice. And then all night long, the morning, my feet just feel so smooth because there's been a lot massaged in. I mean, that would take care of your feet for a long time.
Right. So normally you have to put socks on to keep, and you didn't have to. I was so amazed the next morning how
it just stays.
Yeah, it stays.
And in the summer, it's so hot to put socks on. And I've done that before too. And if my feet get really bad, I might do that. I might put socks on, but I can't handle socks at all in the summertime. It's just, and I don't even like it in the winter, especially sleeping. It just feels claustrophobic for some reason on my feet.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's nice because you don't have to. And it's that long lasting. So the reason that it's long lasting, the other one that you tried that you said didn't work, was that a solid kind of product or was it like a lotion, pump lotion?
No, it was more of a solid. It was in a jar. I mean, it was just like coconut oil.
You have to scoop it out.
Yeah, scoop it out and it melted as it warmed up in your hands. But
okay, so the reason why, and I should explain what a lotion bar is because your listeners may not understand that. It looks like a bar of soap. I mean, if you just see it, in fact, people will see it online. And we had a bigger problem with this when we first started our business, that we forget, we're so used to using it that we forget to tell people it's not soap. So don't use it with water. You don't wash with it. And now it seems like that people understand that. But back then in the beginning, we didn't make that clear enough online. And now when we send it out, we have a how to use it, which is really easy, but we just want to make sure it's used right.
Right.
It has 3 ingredients in it. It's the beeswax is what makes it hard, but it's also what makes it last in your skin for such a long time. Right. And then shea butter is something that is so amazing. It's actually comes from a shea nut that grows on trees, usually in Africa. And then when you take the butter part of the nut it's the inside, and then it's whipped into like a butter. That part is what helps skin ailments so well. Like if you have kids with eczema or psoriasis. And in fact, we have a product that's just for your face, and it has just shea butter and rose hip seed oil because it's like an anti-aging oil. So just those 2 for the face that's all I use as a moisturizer for my face. And that's it. So shea butter alone is like, you can do so much. So if you have anybody listening has a problem with anything, I want it today. I don't even want to wait.
No, I need to know what this is again.
It spells SHEA, and it's just like one single ingredient that you can get at your natural health food store.
Right. So what do you have with the rose?
Okay.
hip?
So what we have, that one is called Simply Shea.
Okay.
That one, the name of that is Simply Shea. Okay. So that one is, it's a little bit softer it's a lot softer than the bar. But it's not like a creamy lotion when you think of putting it on your face. In fact, you actually want to rub it a little bit in the palm of your hand and then apply it to your face because it is thicker than a cream. In the summertime, it's actually softer because of the heat. But so the Simply Shea has those 2 ingredients together. But shea butter alone is an amazing ingredient that you can be used for so many different ailments and issues and stuff. So with the beeswax and the shea butter, then the other one is coconut oil. And most people are super familiar with coconut oil. And because it kind of like almost absorbs right into your skin on contact, like, in the wintertime, it's solid. And then in the summer, at least here, it's super hot. So it's always liquid and right now for us. But it's also that one that because of that temperature variance, it's a perfect complement to the bar, because the minute you start to rub the bar over your hands, the ingredients just absorb right in. So it doesn't take a lot of rubbing, and it doesn't feel like soap that you can't if you rub soap on your skin, you definitely need water to get it to absorb. Right. But this, because the bar alone, you just start your body's warm temperature, it just absorbs right in and helps your skin. So that's kind of how it works.
And one thing I noticed, I don't wear a lot of lotion because as a trainer, when I put lotion on, I slip and slide. Like when I grab weights, they are very slippery, or when I'm exercising, moving around, everything is slippery. So I don't wear lotion. And I noticed with this, I put it on one morning before class, and it must be like the beeswax, like you said. It wasn't slippery. My hands were not slippery. I didn't have any issue with the weights. So I thought that was a great thing as well.
And if you are, if you're not wearing gloves when you're doing, like kettlebells or something, and you get calluses, it really helps with the calluses too. So it's just like an extra benefit of those really hard calluses. The ingredients help with that. And actually, since you're talking exercise, what we noticed about ingredients, and this is kind of how we evolved over the past 12 years as a business, is that I was looking at other ingredients to see if I could modify another product that you get at the store, take like that one ingredient that really makes that product work, and then put it in the same kind of concoction that we have our 3 ingredient base with. Okay. And so one of those, so if you're familiar with Tiger Balm and some of those products that when you have muscle soreness and you want that cooling effect, it's the menthol that is there are little menthol crystals that is in that. It's the same thing that you in cough drops. So it's that menthol that's it's super cooling. Right. And it helps clear up your sinuses. So that one ingredient, only one ingredient, is what makes Tiger Balm what it is. And some of those other cooling products. So I thought, okay, they have to add water to their products too. And then once you add water, you're adding preservatives, you're adding extra additives, and that becomes something that could be a skin issue for somebody because they could be allergic to it. Sometimes they'll also add fragrances because they want it to smell good. It has to be the right feel. They want it to feel soft or feel like a gel or whatever it's supposed to feel like. So they have to have that whole component of how it feels and smells, and they want it more creamy, and water makes things a lot cheaper because it's water. But if you just took that one thing that works in the balms like that, and you put it in a product base like we created a muscle balm out of that. So we put menthol, and menthol, let me tell you, I have a story to tell you with the menthol. We had this big box. It had a shipment of menthol had come in, and it was in a huge box. And inside the box, it's all wrapped in plastic. So it's completely, you can't smell it from the outside. So the big box is sitting on the ground. And my husband came in and plops himself on the box.
Oh no.
Like when he got up 30 minutes later, he's like, my bum feels like it's on. I mean, it was like that cooling, like frozen feeling. And that is how powerful that menthol is. Wow. But in a balm, and so we have what's called a Be Cool stick. Okay. And so it's the same ingredients. And then we add some essential oils that are really good too. And also the smell of it. People will actually use it to clear up their sinuses because it's got some peppermint essential oil and tea tree. But when you apply that to your muscle soreness, that cooling effect, like if I'm sore, especially because I'm at the computer, so my back will be sore, my upper back, and I'm trying to sleep at night, I'll just apply the stick to my back, and it helps the pain, just kind of takes the pain away from probably being in my head where I'm feeling everything, but it makes it feel a lot better. So anyway, it's just neat to see how that's one of the biggest things I've learned over the years is how important ingredients are and how you could just modify one little thing and make something else with it.
That's great. Having an effect with children on the ingredients. That's something my son, my oldest, he has to have everything hypoallergenic because of skin issues. He has eczema and things like that. So it's always very difficult for us to find products to be able to use for him. So I was excited to see your product and how it helps children with eczema because he dealt with what we thought was eczema when he was younger. So he has been on all the steroid creams. Oh. So to be able to have something like this to provide children to where they're not having to be on the steroid cream is wonderful. And you said you have one of your children has eczema.
Yeah. And his is more seasonal.
Okay.
We have so his is thankfully it's more manageable. He just gets it at certain times of the year. So it's not like I have seen a lot of really hard cases because that's usually how people find us is I know moms have to look at the ingredient listing. And so eczema is really complicated because dermatologists can just assign eczema to just any kind of skin condition. So you don't really know. But from digging and then finding out from our own customers what they've done, so there's just a lot of issues that could be addressed that might actually fix that. So sometimes one of the biggest is allergies, just food allergies is a huge one. So, and it's usually the common ones like gluten and dairy, eggs. Those are like the common ones, which is super hard when you have little kids because it's like, especially if it's gluten, oh my goodness, it's in everything.
Right.
The scary thing about the gluten part is that it's also in a lot of skincare that can still cause people to react to the skincare because it's in a vitamin E. A lot of the vitamin E's that are used in skincare are actually gluten-based. So then now you have to kind of like, oh, great. Now it's one more thing to watch on an ingredient list. So that's part of it. But yeah, it's tough with kids and having to keep track of that. It could also be the environment. Like a lot of people find out that they've got molds in the house they didn't realize, and that's causing kids or anybody, not just kids, but that's causing eczema issues. So there's just so many different factors, unfortunately. Right. Yeah. One, I was just looking her up this morning to tell you about her, that she has an awesome resource. She is called the Eczema Expert, and I'll give you the link to her site.
Okay.
But she is, eczemaexpert.co.uk. She's in the UK. Her name is Rebecca Bonato. And when I found her, she is the resource for parents on skin issues. She gives you like a little quiz to take, and then she gives you like it's all free too. She has a lot of free stuff, and then you can always hire her if you really have some extreme issues you want to dig into. But you can get down to the bottom of your issues just by kind of going through some of her free stuff that she has on her website.
That's great. With my son, he's playing football now and he had injured himself. So the athletic trainer, she taped him up. He had a reaction to the tape.
To the tape.
Mm-hmm. And I think what I said to him, because my son's allergic to corn, and that's where his eczema, and it was dermatitis herpetiformis, but it wasn't exactly eczema, but he was diagnosed with eczema.
Yeah.
So he had that last night, and we rubbed some of the hard lotion on, and it's better today.
Oh,
so
good.
It's amazing. I think it was like, the cornstarch is used in a lot of fabrics, like chemical, when they put stuff on the fabric, dry cleaning sheets, it's in so much. So I said, I think it must be something in the tape. They probably use like cornstarch or something.
Because it's cheap too.
Right. Yeah.
So And the problem, and I don't want to mom guilt anybody, but the problem long-term with steroids is it will fix it. In fact, we had a son that he went through this thing about a year ago, that it was just this constant, I could not get rid. It was like a rash skin condition. And I was like, I don't want to take him in. I don't want to take him in. So okay, we just need to spend some time working on his diet and getting him cleaned up. And he's the one that's got probably the worst diet. He's getting a lot better now, but to convince him that you got to try this, let's go dairy free. That's hard if someone's not used to it.
Right.
And then we were going to try all this different elimination stuff. And I was always at the end of my rope, knowing I knew that they would give him steroids, but I also knew that would take care of it. I knew that was going to heal it up. But the problem is that when it comes back, it's back to the steroids, and that long-term use thins their skin. Yeah. So that's kind of like the long-term use of steroids is the problem of it will get rid of it. It's kind of working on whatever the inflammation on the inside, but it's that long-term that is so easy to become dependent on. But I was this close, and then all of a sudden something seemed to kick in and improve. Like we figured out that one thing, and it was hard because we just wanted to prove to him, no, like we can just keep working on this and we can have some success with it. But we didn't. It took a while. It took like a couple of weeks of him being miserable and scratching, and that makes it worse. And he's like 15, so it's kind of like, I know, and it's
writing. Are there other skin ailments that you use your products for?
Mm-hmm. Another one that this is actually a different product, but going back to small children, or it doesn't even it's not even small children, but I had one of my kids, must have been a baby at the time. I was looking at the Desitin that I was using on him, and it was like 17% zinc oxide. So I think, zinc oxide is natural. It's consumable. So what if we put that in the lotion? And yet it couldn't be as hard as a bar, because you don't want to have to try to rub that on a baby's skin. So sensitive and so delicate. But what we did was in this case, we took the shea butter out, and then we lessened the amount of beeswax so that it's just mostly coconut oil. And then we packed it with zinc oxide. And if you ever remember the movies where the lifeguards have the white noses, that's just zinc oxide. And so it's also a sunscreen. You'll see most sunscreens that are all natural will have zinc oxide in it. So, but that's also what helps the rash. So I made that one up and applied it to our baby's rash at the time. And it was like, okay, that's just as good as Desitin. Yeah. Comparing your 20 something ingredients in a Desitin tube to here, we took it down to 3 ingredients. We want to keep as few as possible and not add any fragrances or essential oils or anything, because we knew it's going to be on for babies. It doesn't even smell bad. So there's not even like that codfish oil smell to it. And it works great. So it's just another, the challenge we have is that because it's coconut oil, we add a little more beeswax in the summertime so that it stays that consistent smoothness, but it works great.
Yeah. I noticed on your Instagram that you had posted something about going in the swimming pool. And I just thought that was really great. Can you share with the listeners what you do with the lotion for that?
Yeah. So I love swimming. That's my sport of choice. And we only have access to the pool in the summertime, but it also dries out my skin, and it's a public neighborhood pool. So it's going to be full of chlorine and everything else. But what I wanted to show on that Instagram video was that by lathering, not lather, because it's not like, that's the wrong phrase to use, but by rubbing in the lotion bar in my skin before swimming and then doing my laps coming out, the water just kind of beads up still on top of the skin. So it's not absorbing in, and it's like my skin's been protected. It's got that little layer of protection while I swim, and my skin doesn't feel super dried out after I get out. So yeah, that was another benefit. Again, I'm crediting the beeswax for that, that it has that nice protective layer and the long lasting, where it doesn't just get stripped and stay in the water while we're swimming, but it's actually staying in my skin.
Right. Have you ever tried anything for sunscreen with your product? Since you mentioned zinc oxide, I thought of.
Yeah, we looked into that, but that is so, because it's connected to skin cancer, it is super regulated, and it costs a lot of money to go down that road. Okay. So I will say I just use the rash cream on my skin. If I'm just out at the beach or something, and we're with and I try to not use too much sunscreen in general. Like you have to listen to your own body and your own dermatologist. I don't want to make any medical claims. Right. But I prefer to not have to wear sunscreen until I need it, or if I was really concerned about my kids burning, for sure. But yes, I just use the rash cream, and that protects us. I mean, it's usually only if we're going to be out at the beach for a long time. But yeah, it works fine for that too. So
great. Oh, you know what I thought of is the shampoo bar. I have seen these different places, and I saw that you sell it as well. Mm-hmm. Can you talk me through this? What exactly? I'm very interested because I want to help with the whole plastics. I want to get rid of some of the plastic use in our house. And I find the shampoo bar very interesting, but I have yet to try it. So
yes,
tell me a little bit more.
There's a whole learning curve with your hair on the shampoo bar.
Okay.
So now there's a few products that we don't personally make, and those are all of the soap-based products. So anything that is like a saponified of all the different, we try to use the same, I have our soap maker use the same ingredients. Like I usually kind of give a list of, I use her expertise because I feel like with soap, that's not my expertise. So I have soap makers that's all they do. They've been doing it for years. And so I found the shampoo bar that from somebody else that I was like, same reasons that you're giving, totally curious about, can you actually replace your pump shampoo with a bar, and how does that work? So I just ordered from her. I started using it on my hair, and it took some time to kind of adjust. But I absolutely swear by these now because it's different hair types. And so the best way to decide if it's for you or not is like if you went to our website and looked at all the different reviews for the shampoo bar. Okay. Most people are having really great results with it. Same thing we have a product called hair butter. So if you have kinky curly hair, a little bit dry coarse hair, flyaway hair, then the hair butter works great for that. But sometimes people will use too much and it looks greasy. My hair is like super fine and prone to being greasy. So the hair butter on my hair would not be a good fit. Okay. But my husband's hair, his beard is perfect for that. So for the hair butter and the shampoo bar, look at the reviews to see if that sounds like a good fit for you. Okay. And then the main thing with the shampoo bar is that your hair is so accustomed to your pump shampoo that it's almost like it's going to fight it at first. So some people have no problem right away. And the way it works is it's like a bar of soap. So in the shower, after you get your hair wet, you would just lather up the shampoo bar and then put it on your hair and lather it up, and then make sure you rinse it really well. And that just like shampoo. So everything else is just like shampoo. It's just that you lather it up on your hands instead of the easy pump. So that part takes an extra few minutes, but that's not even that hard. Okay. And then what I've noticed with my own hair is that my hair after, it feels a lot thicker, which is what I want because I've got that fine limp hair. So I find that I don't have to do as much with my hair by using the shampoo bar. Now, over time, in fact, the weird thing is that my hairstylist could tell, she's like, wow, you have healthy hair. And I just turned 52 also this year. So she's like, man, for your age, you have really healthy hair. And she's been doing my hair. She is so in tune to hair that I had a baby 5 years ago and I was still breastfeeding her after probably a year or so. And she's like, I can tell you're still breastfeeding your baby based on how your hair feels. Like she knows the hormones have something to do with the hair. Right. So what was nice was to hear her say that the shampoo seemed to also be doing, like, she's familiar with my hair enough to know that it seems to be even more healthy, which was like, okay, that's great. There can be, so what you need to do, some of the things that make it a little bit more difficult. One is that phase of getting used to it. So if you just kind of use it, you can use it on a same amount of frequency that you wash your hair. continue to do that, but just use the bar and see how it goes for a while.
Okay.
If you feel like after a while, there's like more buildup in your hair, or if you're used to using a conditioner, then you can use a vinegar rinse. And I just put vinegar and water together, and I keep a bottle in the shower. And I would just, after washing my hair with a shampoo bar, then I will do a vinegar rinse where and it totally just feels like a conditioner. So you can do that every now and then. And I only do that. I only need to do about once a month. Other people might feel like they need to do that more often. But it works great. And that smell of vinegar will go away. So you won't have to worry about smelling like vinegar all day long.
Okay.
But that's really, I was amazed. And then, we have these big bars, and if I go on vacation, I just slice a piece of that. Oh. And that's what especially if you're going to fly somewhere and you want to take stuff on carry-on, and the TSA only allows so many ounces of liquid. But by having that, I'll use that as a soap and a shampoo, and I'm done. I mean, that's kind of like easy.
Right. Right. Okay.
And I can even leave it there if I want to, because I just took a sliver enough to last me a few days. And if I don't feel like bringing it back in a bag, I could just toss it or whatever. So, yeah.
Okay. And then, so for someone, I have thicker hair, drier, would you recommend, because I'm thinking after a shampoo bar, I'd really want conditioner in my hair. Would you then do the hair butter? Does it
work as a conditioner? Yeah.
Okay.
You don't, I don't know of anybody, that's where I look at the reviews.
Okay.
But I don't know that people will use it and then wash it out. I don't think you want to use it that way.
Okay.
But as a leave-in conditioner, yes, people do use it for that.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent.
And start with a small amount, just like rub it into your hands and finger it in. But if you put too much in, now, I don't know, it depends. I'm just saying that from reading what people the feedback they give me. Sometimes they'll just I just use too much, but then I notice if I don't use that much, it works out better. Okay. So if you or you might want to just use it on the ends or something like it. It's hard because everybody has different hair.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Is there any other valuable information that you want to share in regards to any of the products? I know that you have a ton of stuff, the goat milk
soap. And that's another one.
The avocado soap my son is using for his acne. Yeah. For his acne. So yeah. And the avocado soap, that's another one our soap maker she makes it for us, and then we get it from her. And that's made with real avocado puree. So it's like actual avocado. In fact, it's funny because some people will I bought a bar from you last month, and then this month looks like a different shade of green. It's it's because it's avocado, it's real stuff. So it just depends on how ripe the avocados are, I guess. But that can be for any skin. I use that on mine. I have more naturally oily skin on my face, and it doesn't have to be just for acne. It doesn't have to be just for dry skin. It's all kinds of skin for the avocado bar. Okay. And then the goat milk, we started to sell that because I had a nephew who had he was just so prone to eczema, and he had just the worst skin condition. And I had a video about him on YouTube, and someone reached out to me. She was a soap maker. We actually used her as our soap maker for quite a while. And she said, "Oh, goat milk soap is what that boy needs." So we started, but first, because we have so many people with eczema come to us, they needed to replace their whatever they buy for soap, because this one is just, the ingredients are so much better for the skin. So that's how come we moved into soap. Okay. And shaving bars too. We have the same person make our shaving bars. Okay. So yeah. And noticing your skin, you have beautiful skin.
Oh,
and for women over 40, the wrinkles are starting to set in.
What I do at night is for just before I go to bed is I'll use the avocado facial bar to wash my face with, and then I'll apply the Simply Shea at night, and that's all I need to do. And then the next morning, or if I didn't apply it the night before, if I'm going to put makeup on or something, or even regardless, I'll put the Simply Shea on my face, and that's it. So that's yeah. Okay. In fact, we're working on a e-course that's talking about, because a lot of times it's not just the actual product that's a big deal, but it's also like so many other factors. It's like I've been working with a functional health medicine coach, and so for 2 years, so she's really helped me in all these other areas of my life, not just getting good skin, but just the exercise and what I eat and all of that. So we're doing a course that's going to talk about all these other different factors. Sleep affects your skin and stress affects your skin. And so all of those things, like how do you manage that? Because you have to have sleep. And if you're not sleeping, you need to figure out why and all that. So that's another thing that we try to do with people is educate. So there's not just like come and buy our lotion, but come and figure out what your skin issues are and how you can make it better. Because a lot of times it's on the inside that has to get fixed. So like you figured out with the corn, that had to be huge for your son. Once you kind of figured out, did you have a test done for him or did you just eliminate?
We did. And what's interesting is we had a skin test done on him. He was highly allergic to corn and peanut, but we did not make the connection because it was a skin test. We were thinking that he just can't be in contact with those things. Obviously peanuts, I knew that he could not have it at all. But for some reason, I did not think about the corn in the same way. So he was dealing with dermatitis herpetiformis. And when I was looking that up, it kept saying celiac. So we cut him off of all gluten. Well, when you cut someone off of all gluten, really all you have left is rice and corn. So he was eating so much rice and corn products and he was not getting better, but we didn't know because he was also using steroid cream at the time. So we didn't see that he was breaking out. Well, finally, at some point, we had gone through the steroid creams and he started breaking out again. And it wasn't like all over his body. He would have these patches and come to find out my daughter gets these white patches on the back of her skin as well. And hers is from corn also. Oh, like on the back of her knees. Yeah. Her skin just becomes white, which I think that I don't know what that's called, but I know that there is a diagnosis for that. Ours is corn related. So once we saw this, like he would eat popcorn or something and then he'd break out. And I was like, you were a +5 with corn. We need to pull corn. And once we pulled corn, we allowed gluten back into his diet. He was fine with gluten. It is corn. It's corn. Yeah, wow. But it's one of those things where it's corn starch, it's corn meal, it's
in everything. Yes. I know, because it's the sweetener. So it's going to be in, sodas have the corn syrup. Everything has corn syrup. That's so hard. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
So but that plus wheat would have been taking you over the edge. So I'm glad you get to get wheat back a little bit.
Yes. Oh yeah. How can people find you on the internet?
Okay. We are at hardlotion.com. And so back when we started it, thankfully we thought of the domain that would be easy to remember. So at the farmer's market, we would say hard lotion and people would come up and say, you misspelled hand, it's hand lotion. But, oh, well, I'm not going to deal with that so much anymore, but yeah, hardlotions.com is the fastest way to find you.
Okay. And I know that you are providing a special offer for our listeners.
Yes. And better than don't even go to hardlotion.com because I made a special page for you based on, and by the way, we can add to this page because you haven't tried some of the other products. So whatever your opinions are on, I'll keep adding to our page of what you like. So we've kind of made you a custom page. And that one is hardlotion.com/FORMFIT. Yep. So when you go to hardlotion.com /FORMFIT,
I know
that will take you right to Courtney's customized page of what she likes. And you can still do all your exploring from there, but that will tell what Courtney has tried and loves. And then, there you go. And then, we gave you guys a discount, didn't we? $5 off. Oh, and it made it easy too. FORMFIT for $5 off anything you want to try. So we have lip balms. We do have a lot of different products. I keep fighting myself on no more new stuff. But we've got like lip balms and then some of the lotions that we do in the hard form. We also will add different essential oils. So there's one like a frankincense and ylang ylang that people really like. And so that's those combinations. So we'll come out, and at Christmas time, we usually have some kind of different scent come out, and then we also have them in a stick form too. So sometimes it is going to be plastic though. So if you're avoiding plastic, don't get the stick. But those sometimes, if you don't want it on your own skin, but you're applying it to a child, you can use the stick. And then with the bars, we also have, at least for just the base one, the bee silk, we have those in refills too. So I know people, it comes in a tin. Mm-hmm. You just need to refill. You just use the bar form and you have your own tin that you bought the first time. You just come back, save money, and you can buy them in refill packs.
Oh, that's great. Okay, perfect. Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for being here and sharing all of your information with us.
Thank you for having me. And any questions that people have, please, I'm very responsive to email. So Renee@hardlotion.com is the fastest way to email and to get contact us.
Excellent. And we will have all of that information in the show notes as well for you. So
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my interview with Renee, and I hope it brought you some value today. I also hope that if you or your family are dealing with skin issues, you can rely on a product like Hard Lotion to help ease the discomfort while getting to the root of the problem. Head to hardlotion.com/FORMFIT to receive $5 off at checkout. You will need to use the code FORMFIT. And you will also see where she is offering a free gift with the purchase. So if you go to hardlotion.com/FORMFIT, you'll be able to see some of the products that I recommend. And you'll also see that there is a free gift there. And then when you're at the checkout, make sure to put in FORMFIT as your code to receive an additional $5 off. And if you purchase any of the products, please make sure to let me know, as I would love to hear what you think. I hope you all have a wonderful day.